What is going on, everyone? My name is Tilo, and today I'm here to bring y'all the long-awaited Rainbow Zaag Kick tutorial video. So I say we just go ahead, let's not waste any time and get right into this video here. So first thing you're going to want to do is open Serum 2. I'm going to delete all these extra things right here because we don't need them, you know. So in Serum 2, the first thing you're going to do, a saw wave is fine. You're going to want to take this random knob and turn it all the way down here. And that way, whenever you play this note, it's going to start at the same position in this waveform each time. And this matters because if you don't do this, your Zaag kick will be different every single time. So once you got that, you're going to want to add in a sub. Drop it 2 octaves. And go ahead and lay your note down. So I'll use G sharp for this. Alright, so yeah, it sounds beautiful already. Go ahead and get that in a mixer track. And then this is where we're going to start adding effects onto this kick to actually shape it into what we need. So the first thing we're going to want to do is add in a Fruity Parametric EQ2 or any equalizer plugin you have. And just draw some big peaks at some of these areas here. Alright. And another thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to clone this serum. And I'm going to go into it and take out the oscillator A so we're just left with a sub. And I'm going to route this to mixer track number 2, and we can go ahead and rename this to saw and rename this to sub. So now that we have that, I'm going to go ahead and color code these. We're going to route both of these to this third mixer track here, which is going to act as a bus. So take these, highlight them, right click, route to this track only. And then this is routed to the mixer. So both of these now, if I copy and paste this, are going to go into this bus. In the first one, I'm going to add another EQ at the very bottom that's going to take out the low end here. And that's just so we can have a clean sub because we're about to add a bunch of effects onto this saw right here. So let's go ahead and get into that. We're going to want to go ahead and add in our bass booster. So this is going to be automated to kind of do that type of motion there. So let's go ahead and do that. Take this, create automation clip. We can go ahead and drag our pattern 1 into the playlist as well. And then we're just going to want to make a simple kick type of deal there. And paste it all across. Alright. Now we're going to want to add in our distortion here. So pretty much choose any distortion plugin. Let's go ahead and crank this BPM up to about 180. Let's actually take this sub too. And this sub actually, instead of being -2 octaves, needs to be -3 octaves on both of these right here. Now you can kind of see we're actually shaping some stuff up here. And then we're going to take this, I'm going to add another EQ onto the actual sub oscillator. And we're going to do the same thing. You can quickly do this by Articulator Tools, copy state and paste state. going to go ahead and add in our OTT. So this is kind of just going to bring everything together here. And for right now, I'm actually going to turn off this other sub and bring this EQ back. Actually boost it a little bit. There we go. So as you can tell, stuff's already kind of coming together a little bit here. Alright, and now we are going to add in a chroma here. So if you don't have this plugin, you could maybe use a vocoder, but if you're really going to want to make these color kicks or color Zaag kicks the correct way, then you're probably going to want this plugin, or at least pitch map. This plugin, I like to put it first and then put pitch map after it, so we're going to experiment with that in this video and see if that works, but usually I'm just putting chroma down here, but let's just see what this gives us. And we're going to put this on the key that we put our note in right here in this playlist. So that was at a G sharp. So I'm going to drag this slider right here so that there's not as much high end getting affected and colorized, because that just kind of makes it sound weird. And that's already sounding pretty good. So that, I'm just adding that boost there to kind of make the bass a little bit more distorted with this, right there. And now I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup EQing here so I can kind of shape this the way I want it to. And let's add a pitch map after this chroma and just see what that kind of can give us here. So set that on G sharp, key transform to natural minor. So now I'm just kind of working on trying to get this colorized a little bit. So you're going to want to play around with chroma and pitch map and just the rest of these to find the sound that you want to find. I'm actually going to go into this saw here, see if I can feed any white noise or something through it. So all I did here was turn the octave on this saw wave here down by 1, and that's kind of helped colorize it a little bit better. So you're kind of seeing like how changing the octaves can really affect the sound of this. So I'm going to go in and play with these bands again real quick. I'm going to turn pitch map off for now. Maybe let's put a hyper dimension on this. So now that I've kind of found the sound that I'm going for, so I'm going to add another OTT to kind of glue everything together here. And now I'm finally going to remove the bass in this portion. Everything is fine but the sub, so, you know, around an 80 hertz cut or a 75 hertz cut usually does the job. So now, we're going to separate the bass. So, what I ended up doing in these was I put this saw wave here without a sub on it, and this sub-only oscillator into the same mixer track. So I have nothing currently routed to this sub track here, in the second mixer track here. So I'm going to clone this sub, route it to channel 2, copy this, and paste it. And then we're going to turn this on. And now, we're really going to crank this up. And I'm even going to go into serum here and do a little bit of, just to get it fully cranked up so it's distorting within the entire track here. And now you can mess around and maybe add a little bit more distortion on the bus, but this is just fully optional. You've pretty much got your kick done at this point. Maybe another OTT to glue everything together again. And then I'm gonna add, instead of that OTT, a final EQ down here. Alright. And so I left pitch map off during this, so you actually don't need pitch map if you want to make these kicks. Chrome is also cheap too. It's only like $50 or something like that, unless NASCO's raised the price on it. But yeah, great plugin. I highly recommend Chrome. It's absolutely brilliant plugin. But and then you can go in your kick and you can drag, go a little down here. You also want to probably take this sub down with it. And this sub. So now that you have your kick, you can, one, bounce it out, or you can play around with certain things with inside these oscillators and inside your effects. Some things I like to really do is, one, change up this wavetable here. So that's already sounding really cool. Another thing I like to do is obviously mess around with this hyperdimension, but I think we've got it in a pretty good state right now. So I'm actually going to add a phaser. And you're going to want to make sure with all these effects that the rate is always at 0% so that it's stagnant. Because if it's not, I'll give you an example of what it'll sound like. So you hear how it's moving around. If it's stagnant, there's no movement there. So you can mess around with the phaser. So yeah, that's just another cool thing you can do. You can also obviously mess with these bands a little bit. So I like mine how I got them. This EQ too, you can mess with the bands in there. So yeah, that's pretty much got that covered. Feel free to experiment with as many things as you want in this, changing the key of this too. So yeah. Also, another thing that you can do with this is add in a small reverb at the end of your bus mixer track effect rack. So obviously turn the bass all the way down on this. You don't want any bass in this. I mean, you can do this with almost any reverb. I don't know why, but whenever I try and use Valhalla reverb with this, it just tweaks out. So I've just kind of been sticking with Fruity reverb. You can use like Crystalline. Any reverb usually will work well with this. But yeah, that's just another thing you can kind of do with these. And that just adds a little bit of dimension to it. So now that we've got this is pretty much your finished kick. Yeah. So anyways guys, that is the simple tutorial on how to make a rainbow kick. If you guys want me to make more of these or more tutorials, let me know. I also could make a rainbow helicopter kick tutorial, or just more color kick tutorials, or whatever tutorials you guys want me to make, honestly. Just let me know in the comments. Give me some ideas, please. I love to hear what you guys have to say about it, and I really appreciate all of you guys for watching. Thank you guys so much for 300 subscribers. Be sure to check the link in the description of this video. I have 3 packs now out for free, completely free on Gumroad, so obviously you don't want to miss that. Get on Gumroad. Get those free packs. I've got some color kick packs, some color bass effects packs, and a Serum 2 preset pack out now. So go grab those right now. You won't want to miss them. It's beautiful sounds in there. Trust me, you know, I'm not biased at all. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Come back, like, subscribe, stay tuned to the channel, and you guys will see more stuff like this. Peace out, guys.